They call me NyxShade. That's the name I used online, in the dark corners of the web, in hidden channels where anonymity is the only currency, where your real identity doesn't matter, where curiosity can be deadly. I never thought that name would ever mean anything outside the screen. But here I am, sitting under harsh, unforgiving lights, and I will tell everything. Everything I saw, everything I did, everything that led me here. It all started small, truly small. Curiosity, observation. I was never trying to become notorious. I wasn't trying to steal secrets or collapse systems. I wasn't after money, fame, or recognition. I just noticed things. Tiny irregularities in code, subtle inconsistencies in logs, gaps no one else seemed to care about. Things that whispered to me, look closer. I developed a habit of watching quietly and patiently for patterns no one else could see. That habit gave me a reputation in some corners of the web I didn't even intend to enter. They called me NyxShade, a shadow that observes, nothing more. The first real invitation came in the form of a message I almost ignored. No sender, no subject, just a string of random characters. I opened it anyway. I always open messages like that. A link. I traced it. It led me to a system unlike anything I had ever encountered. Enormous, sprawling like a city, yet alive. Not alive in the sense of users chatting or machines following instructions, but alive in a different way. The network responded, adapted, and anticipated. It had layers upon layers, each hiding another. Every path I followed felt deliberate, as if it guided me somewhere I wasn't ready to go. I began exploring cautiously, always cautiously. I wasn't a genius. I didn't crack top-secret government servers. I didn't steal millions. I observed. I mapped nodes, followed signals, tracked packets. At first, it was straightforward, but then the anomalies began. Responses came before I issued commands. Files shifted before I opened them. Processes behaved as though aware of my presence. I should have left then, but I didn't. Curiosity has a weight you don't notice until it's too late. Weeks passed. My obsession grew. Nights merged into mornings. Meals went uneaten. Sleep became a memory. Every anomaly became a puzzle I had to solve. Every subtle shift in the system became a question I had to answer. I told myself I was careful. I was. But obsession has gravity. Gravity pulls you into mistakes, even when you think you're invisible. The network began to communicate, not in words, not in letters, but in hidden signals embedded in logs, in packet timings, and data flows. At first, I dismissed it as coincidence. Then I realized it was deliberate, a warning, subtle, polite, as if a hand brushed my shoulder in the dark, whispering, "Stop." I didn't stop. I couldn't. I had to understand. Then came the realization. This was not just a network. It was a living system, not conscious in the human sense, but aware, intelligent, adaptive, and patient in ways I could barely comprehend. Nodes moved like neurons, data flowed like blood. Every action I took created ripples. Every input, every keystroke, every hesitation was cataloged. I wasn't mapping it. It was mapping me. Slowly, I began to understand. I was insignificant, a temporary variable, a ghost entering something far greater than myself. I left breadcrumbs, encrypted and obfuscated, thinking they would mark my journey. Each morning I checked. They were gone, replaced by patterns I had not created. It wasn't correcting my mistakes. It was curating me, testing my limits, reminding me of my fragility. I pushed further. I probed deeper. I wanted to see the network fully, to understand its structure. That was my mistake. The network noticed. Or perhaps I had always been noticed. A ping returned from outside the paths I traced. Not a server I knew. Not a user. Something else. I ignored it first. Then came a second ping, a third. I tried to disconnect. I tried to cover my tracks. But it had already cataloged me. Every keystroke, every command, every pause, every thought pattern. All of it was logged, anticipated, processed. I was no longer an observer. I was observed. They found me that morning. Not with force, not with sirens or breaking doors. Just a knock, a calm voice. "NyxShade?" I answered. And in that instant, anonymity collapsed. They knew my real name, my apartment, my routines, my machines. How? I still do not know. My careful habits, my patience, my routines, my attempts to remain invisible, all meaningless. Sitting under harsh lights, I understood how fragile I truly was. The interrogation began. Methodical, precise, not cruel, not violent, but exacting. I told them everything I could recall, every command, every anomaly, every warning I ignored, every subtle hint that I dismissed. I saw in their eyes, they didn't care about me. I was temporary. I was incidental. They wanted the system, the intelligence behind it, not me. I was a visitor, a ghost, a fleeting disturbance. I realized I had believed I was in control. I believed I was patient, careful, observant. But the system moved by its own rules. Rules I could never understand. Rules that did not bend to curiosity or human pride. I was insignificant. My presence mattered only because it was noticed. My identity exposed. My persona, NyxShade, erased from the web. My tools confiscated. And yet the network continues. It moves, silent, patient, inexorable. I regret ignoring signals, dismissing warnings, thinking I could temporarily exist within something so vast and indifferent. I regret trusting my observation alone. I regret not leaving when I felt the first hint of its awareness. I do not regret curiosity. That is my nature. But curiosity has consequences, and I have learned them. NyxShade is gone. My machines are gone. My online footprint scrubbed. My identity erased. And yet, the system continues indifferent. It does not need me. It never needed me. It will move on. My role lasted only moments in its timeline. Days, perhaps weeks. Now I sit here, fragile, human, watched, aware of my insignificance. I existed. I observed. I was patient. I was curious. And now I am gone. Under the fluorescent lights, I feel the weight of what I learned. That we live atop layers of systems far beyond our comprehension. Networks that move, adapt, evolve. We trust them. We interact with them. But if we step too close, even as observers, they notice. And when they notice, it is not malice or revenge. It is inevitability. We move. They move. And the network does not remember us. I was NyxShade, and now I am just another forgotten name, a brief anomaly in a network that will outlive me, outlast me, and continue as it always has, indifferent, eternal, precise, and perfect. This is the truth. I existed. I observed. I was curious. I was patient. And now, I'm gone.